We are taught to believe that movement, noise, and constant activity are the essence of life. We live in a world that celebrates the loudest voice, the fastest pace, and the most visible presence. But deep within, the soul speaks a language that is not one of words, not one of action, but one of stillness. And in this stillness, we find the truest expression of who we are. We find our connection to the divine, to the very essence of life itself. Stillness is not silence. Stillness is the language of the soul, a language that transcends the limitations of the mind. It is not the absence of sound, but the presence of something far greater, the presence of peace, of clarity, of wisdom that rises from the depths of our being. It is in stillness that we are able to hear the subtle whispers of our spirit guiding us on the path of our highest truth. And yet, we live in a world that constantly demands our attention. The noise is everywhere. The distractions are relentless. We are pulled in 1,000 different directions, each one shouting for our focus, for our energy, for our time. The mind races, the emotions swirl, and we find ourselves lost in the chaos of it all. But in the midst of this storm, there is a place of calm, a place where the soul speaks to us in a language that does not require words. Stillness is not something we do, it is something we become. It is the natural state of our being, the essence of who we are when we are free from the noise of the world, when we are free from the distractions of the ego. The ego thrives on movement. It thrives on activity, on the pursuit of external validation, on the constant need for approval and recognition, but the soul does not seek approval. The soul does not need validation. The soul is already whole, already complete, already at peace. When we stop seeking, when we stop striving, when we let go of the need to control, we find that we are carried into a place of stillness. It is in this place that we reconnect with our true selves, with the divine presence that resides within us. In this stillness, we discover that everything we have been searching for was already within us, waiting for us to stop long enough to notice it. Stillness is not a passive state. It is not the absence of action, but rather the presence of intention. In stillness, we are not inactive, but we are deeply aligned with the flow of life. We are in tune with the rhythms of the universe, moving in harmony with the energy of creation. Stillness allows us to respond to life from a place of clarity and wisdom, rather than from a place of reaction and fear. The ego tells us that we must be busy, that we must always be doing, achieving, and striving. But the soul knows that true power lies in surrender, in letting go of the need to control, and in allowing life to unfold naturally. In stillness, we are reminded that we do not have to fight to survive. We do not have to force things to happen. Life flows effortlessly when we allow it to. When we let go of the need to control, we find that the universe responds with grace, with ease, and with infinite abundance. In this stillness, we begin to heal. Healing does not come from external sources. Healing comes from within. It comes from the deep recognition that we are whole, that we are enough, just as we are. The mind tells us that we are broken, that we are flawed, that we need to be fixed. But the soul knows the truth that we are already whole, already complete, already perfect in our imperfection. It is only the ego that needs fixing, for it is the ego that is attached to the illusion of separation, to the belief that we are not enough. Stillness is the gateway to healing because it is in stillness that we reconnect with the truth of who we are. When we stop, when we silence the mind and the chatter of the ego, we come into direct contact with our true nature. And in this contact, we remember that we are divine beings, that we are made of the same energy that created the stars, the same energy that flows through every living thing. We are not separate from the divine. We are not separate from the universe. We are the universe expressing itself through us. When we embrace stillness, we also embrace the idea that we are not our thoughts. The mind, with its endless stream of thoughts, can create the illusion that we are the sum total of our thoughts, that we are defined by the stories we tell ourselves. But the truth is that we are the observer of the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. In stillness, we can witness the thoughts without identifying with them. We can let them pass like clouds in the sky, knowing that they do not define us. We are the sky, vast and infinite, not the fleeting clouds. The ego wants us to believe that we are our stories, that we are our past, that we are the sum total of our experiences. But the soul knows that we are not our past. We are not the wounds we carry. We are not the mistakes we have made. We are not the roles we have played. We are the space between the thoughts, the stillness that exists when we stop trying to be someone we are not. We are the presence of awareness, the pure essence of being. In this stillness, we find freedom. The ego binds us to the past, to the future, to the fear and the anxiety that arise from our attachment to outcomes. But the soul knows that freedom exists in the present moment. When we are still, when we are fully present, we are free from the shackles of time. We are free from the weight of regret and the fear of what may come. In stillness, we discover that the only moment that truly exists is the one we are living right now. Stillness is the antidote to the restlessness of the ego. It is the cure for the endless striving, the constant seeking, and the unrelenting pressure to do more, be more, have more. In stillness, we come to understand that we do not need to strive to be whole because we already are. We do not need to chase after happiness because it is already within us. We do not need to seek love because we are love. We do not need to search for peace because peace is who we are. Stillness is the gateway to the divine. It is in stillness that we come into direct contact with the source of all life, with the intelligence that created the universe, with the love that sustains all things. When we stop seeking outside of ourselves, when we stop looking for answers in the noise of the world, we find that the answers are already within us. The soul always knows. It knows the way. It knows the truth. It knows the path that will lead us back to ourselves. And so, I invite you to find stillness, not the kind of stillness that comes from escaping the world, but the kind of stillness that arises from within. The stillness that comes when we stop running, when we stop avoiding, when we stop resisting. The stillness that comes when we stop long enough to listen to the voice of our soul, the voice that speaks in silence, in peace, in love. In this stillness, you will find everything you need. You will find clarity. You will find peace. You will find wisdom. You will find the strength to heal. You will find the courage to let go. You will find the freedom to be who you truly are. And in this stillness, you will remember that you are not separate from the divine. You are the divine. You are the expression of love, of peace, of infinite possibility. Stillness is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is the language of the soul, and it is the path to your freedom. When you embrace stillness, you embrace yourself. You embrace your divinity. You embrace the truth that you are already enough, already whole, already perfect, just as you are. And in that truth, you will find the peace, the joy, and the love that you have been seeking all along. In this silence, you are invited to let go of the struggle. The soul does not need to fight its way into peace, nor does it need to win approval from the outside world. Peace is not something to be conquered, but something that arises naturally when the mind releases its grip. The world will always beckon you to chase, to compete, to become more than you are. But in the depths of stillness, you realize that you are already everything you need to be. There is no race to win, no prize to gain, just the quiet truth of your own being unfolding effortlessly in the present moment. In this gentle quiet, the noise of your inner battles begins to fade. You are no longer caught in the endless loop of self-criticism or the constant search for improvement. The pull to measure your worth by your achievements starts to soften, and you begin to rest in the realization that you are not defined by what you do, but by who you are. Your value is inherent. It is woven into your very fabric. The stillness invites you to witness this truth, not with the mind, but with the heart. A heart that knows without question that you are enough. Here, in the tranquil presence of the soul, there is no need to be anyone other than who you are. No longer do you need to wear the masks of expectation or bend to the will of the world. You stand in your own light, free from the need for validation or approval. It is in this freedom that your true essence can shine. No longer do you have to prove your worth. The truth of your being speaks louder than any external accolade ever could. As you sit in the stillness, you may feel the pull of the past, trying to remind you of your mistakes, your regrets, and the moments you wish you could change. But the stillness is your sanctuary, where time itself fades into the background. In this space, you realize that your past is merely a collection of experiences, each one contributing to the wisdom you now carry. The stillness helps you see the past not as something to carry with you, but as something that has already been transformed, transmuted into wisdom, and released into the flow of your life. In this moment, as you breathe deeply and connect with your inner stillness, you understand that true freedom lies not in the pursuit of external success, but in the acceptance of your own unfolding. There is no need to chase anything. Everything you have ever sought, love, peace, joy, is already within you, simply waiting for you to acknowledge it. The stillness is the doorway through which these treasures are revealed, not as something to be gained, but as something to be remembered. Through stillness, the illusion of separation falls away. You begin to sense that you are not isolated in your journey, but an integral part of the vast web of existence. The boundaries between you and the world begin to dissolve, and you realize that the love, the peace, the wisdom you seek is not somewhere out there, but within you, interwoven with the very core of your being. In the stillness, you are reminded that you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself through your consciousness. In this quiet presence, healing begins. Healing is not the result of fixing what is broken. It is the realization that there was never anything to fix in the first place. The stillness shows you that your wounds are not your identity, that the scars you carry do not define your worth. In this sacred silence, you remember that you are not broken. You are whole, as you have always been. You are the embodiment of divine perfection, untouched by the illusion of imperfection. And in this remembrance, healing happens effortlessly. It is in the stillness that forgiveness blooms. Forgiveness does not come from the mind or the ego, which are quick to judge and hold on to past pain. Forgiveness arises from the soul, from the heart that knows the truth of love and compassion. It does not excuse the actions that hurt you, but it releases you from the grip of the past. In the stillness, you realize that forgiveness is not a gift you give to others, it is a gift you give to yourself. You let go of the weight of resentment, of anger, and you allow yourself to move forward with a heart full of peace. As you sit in this moment of stillness, you are invited to release all the expectations you have placed on yourself and the world around you. You no longer need to chase after what you think you should be. You can simply be. The stillness asks you to surrender to the flow of life, to trust in the wisdom of your soul, and to let go of the need for control. Life is not something to be conquered. It is something to be experienced, to be embraced. And when you let go of the need to control, you will find that life unfolds with grace, with ease, and with perfect timing. In this stillness, you remember that you are not alone. You are held in the embrace of something much greater than yourself. You are part of the divine dance of the universe, flowing with the rhythm of the cosmos. Your heart beats in harmony with the heart of the world. In this stillness, you know that you are never separate, never disconnected. You are one with the infinite, one with the divine, and in that oneness you find your peace. The stillness is not a place to escape from the world. It is a place to reconnect with it. In the quiet, you begin to see the world through new eyes. You see the beauty in the simple moments, the sacredness in the ordinary. You recognize the divine in everyone and everything, and your heart overflows with compassion. In the stillness, you learn to be present, to truly be here now, without clinging to the past or worrying about the future. In this presence, you experience the depth of life's mystery, the profound beauty of every moment, and the eternal truth that all is well. And so, in this stillness, you find yourself. You discover the truth that you are not what the world tells you to be. You are not your thoughts, your past, or your struggles. You are a divine being, already whole, already perfect, already enough. In the stillness, you remember who you are, not as a label, not as an identity, but as the essence of being itself. You are the quiet presence of love, peace, and wisdom. You are the soul unshaken by the storms of life, ever present, ever still. Stillness is the language of the soul, and in this language you will find everything you have been searching for. It is not outside of you, but within. It is not something you need to achieve, but something you need to remember. In stillness, you will remember the truth of who you are, and in that remembrance, you will find your freedom. And so, let the stillness wash over you. Let it be the balm that heals your wounds. Let it be the space where you reconnect with your divine essence. Let it be the light that guides you through the darkness, the love that lifts you when you fall. And in the stillness, you will find your way home. Stillness is not a destination, but a state of being. It's a space where the soul is allowed to breathe without the interference of the constant chatter of the mind. The mind wants to define, to label, to measure, but in stillness, there is no need for any of these. There is only pure experience, the raw, unfiltered moment where you are exactly as you are, and the world around you exists without judgment or expectation. In stillness, there is a deep surrender. The ego, which once fought for control, is allowed to rest. The need to shape the world to your will falls away. And in this surrender, something miraculous happens. You reconnect with your inherent wisdom. You remember that the answers to life's questions do not lie in the hustle, the external noise, or the accumulation of things. They lie in the space between thoughts and the calm of the present moment, in the stillness of your soul. When you stop seeking, you find. When you stop grasping, you receive. In this place of stillness, you are not alone. You are connected to everything, to the universe, to the stars above and the earth beneath your feet. There is no separation. This is the great truth that the ego tries to obscure. You are part of the infinite, the eternal flow of life. Your soul is connected to all that is, and when you realize this, there is a profound peace that washes over you. It is the peace of knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. It is the peace of knowing that you are a thread in the tapestry of the universe, perfectly woven into the design of creation. In the quiet, you begin to understand that your life is not an isolated journey. You are part of a grand, interconnected dance of existence, a dance that stretches across time, across space, across dimensions. Every choice you make ripples out into the world, affecting the whole, and every action you take is a reflection of the divine energy that flows through all things. The stillness shows you this truth, allowing you to see beyond the limited perspective of the ego, to recognize the profound unity that exists between you and everything else. It is this stillness that gives you the strength to release the past. The past is only a story the mind tells itself, and as long as you hold on to it, you are trapped in a loop. But in the stillness, you can let go. You can release the weight of old wounds, the chains of old regrets. In this moment, you are free from the ghosts of the past, free from the need to hold on to pain or resentment. You can forgive Not because you condone the actions of others, but because you choose to free yourself from their hold over you. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door to the present. And in the stillness, you find the strength to forgive, to let go, to move forward. And moving forward in stillness is not a movement of force or effort. It is a movement of flow. It is the art of surrendering to the rhythm of life, of trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. The ego tells you to push forward, to work harder, to strive more. But the soul knows that there is no need for this. Life moves in cycles, in waves, and when you allow yourself to flow with the current, you will always be exactly where you need to be. The stillness teaches you this. It teaches you that you do not have to fight your way through life. You simply have to be, to trust, and to surrender to the flow of the universe. In this space of stillness, there is also a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the simple moments, for the beauty that surrounds you, for the people who cross your path. The ego is quick to judge, quick to compare, quick to find fault. But the soul sees only beauty, sees only connection, sees only love. In stillness, you begin to see with new eyes, eyes that recognize the divinity in all things, the sacredness in the mundane. Every moment becomes a gift. Every interaction becomes an opportunity for love, and every breath becomes a prayer of thanks. It is in stillness that you discover your true power. Power is not the ability to control or dominate. True power is the ability to be at peace, to be centered no matter what is happening around you. The world may throw challenges your way, but in the stillness, you are unshaken. You are like a tree, standing firm in the storm, its roots deep in the earth, its branches reaching toward the sky. No matter how strong the winds blow, the tree remains rooted, steady, and grounded. This is the power that comes from stillness, the power to remain calm, centered, and unshaken, no matter what life presents. And from this power, you begin to see that the world itself is a reflection of your inner state. As within, so without. When you cultivate peace within, peace will radiate out into the world. When you embrace love within, love will be reflected in your relationships, your work, and your environment. The stillness within you creates ripples that extend outward, touching everything you encounter. And in this way, you become a source of peace, of healing, of love in the world. You become the change you wish to see. In this stillness, you remember the truth of who you are. You're not just a body, not just a mind, not just a fleeting identity. You are the eternal soul, a divine spark of consciousness, and this truth transcends all that the world tells you to be. The ego may try to define you by your appearance, your job, your achievements, but none of these things can define you. You are the observer, the witness, the presence that is aware of it all. You are not what you do, but the being that does. You are not what you have, but the essence that has everything. In stillness, you reconnect with this truth. You remember your divine nature, and in this remembrance, you find freedom. And this is the gift of stillness. It brings you home. It brings you back to yourself, back to your truth, back to your soul. In stillness, you find the courage to let go of all that no longer serves you, to shed the layers of fear, doubt, and judgment. In stillness, you find the wisdom to recognize that you are already whole, already perfect, already complete. There is nothing to fix, nothing to change, and nothing to achieve. You are already what you seek. So, I invite you to embrace the stillness, to stop long enough to listen to the voice of your soul, to hear the whispers of the universe, and to reconnect with the divine energy that flows through you. In the stillness, you will find your peace, You will find your power. You will find your truth. And in that truth, you will find everything you have ever been searching for. And now, as we reach the end of this journey, the stillness invites you to simply be. There's nothing more to do, nothing more to prove, and nowhere more to go. You have arrived not in the future, not in a distant destination, but right here, in this moment. The stillness has led you back to your true essence, to the quiet knowing that you are enough, that you are whole, that you are already everything you need to be. In this stillness, there is no rush. Life is not something to be hurried through. It is not a race to the finish line. The race ends in the realization that there is no finish line. The journey, in its purest form, is about returning to the self, returning to the stillness, where the soul can breathe, can be, can exist without the need to chase or seek. The stillness is the arrival point and the starting point, all at once. It is the destination that was never separate from the journey, the home you've always known, waiting for you to come back. The world outside will continue to move, continue to change, continue to pull at you in every direction. The distractions will never cease. But within you, within the sacred silence of your heart, there is a refuge. And in this refuge, you are invincible. Nothing can shake the peace that resides in the stillness. No matter what happens in the external world, the truth of your being, the truth of who you are, remains unchanged, untouched, and eternal. Stillness is not an escape from the world. It is the key to living fully in it. It is not about withdrawing or avoiding. It is about learning to live from a place of deep alignment with your soul. It is about moving through the world with clarity, with purpose, with an open heart, while remaining grounded in the truth that your peace does not depend on anything outside of you. In the stillness, you realize that everything you need, every ounce of love, every bit of wisdom, every thread of courage already resides within you. You are complete. You are the embodiment of divine wisdom. And from this place of deep knowing, you can live freely, joyfully, and authentically. You are not the fear that has held you back. You are not the doubts that have clouded your path. You are not the judgments that have defined you. You are the stillness beneath it all. You are the peace that transcends it all. The mind may try to create a story, may try to define your reality with labels and limits, but the soul knows no limits. The soul is free. And in this freedom, you find your power. When you sit in stillness, you find the courage to let go of the past. The past is a shadow, a whisper of a life that no longer exists. You are not the person you once were, nor are you the mistakes you once made. In stillness, you rise into the truth of who you are now, in this present moment, and in this moment alone is all that you need. The past is gone. The future is unknown. The only thing that exists is the present moment. And in the present, you are whole, you are free, and you are enough. The stillness has already begun to work its magic. You may not see it, but it is there in every corner of your being. It is in the quiet of your heart, the peace of your mind, and the calm of your spirit. You may not notice it at first, but as you move through your days, you will begin to feel its presence more deeply. In the stillness, you will begin to understand that you are not alone, that you are part of something much greater than yourself. The universe is speaking to you, whispering its truths in the silence. And as you listen, you will find that your life begins to unfold in the most beautiful, unexpected ways. And so, I leave you with this. Return to the stillness whenever you can. It is not a destination. It is the space between your thoughts. It is the quiet center of your being. It is the infinite peace that exists beneath the surface of your mind. In this space, you will find the truth of who you are. In this space, you will find your power. And in this space, you will find your freedom. The stillness is not something you have to search for. It is already within you, waiting for you to notice. It is always available, always present, always there. All you need to do is stop, breathe, and listen. When you do, you will discover that everything you need has been within you all along. You are the stillness, you are the peace, you are the love. You are the wisdom. And in this truth, you will find the courage to live your life with grace, with purpose, and with an open heart. So, let the stillness guide you. Let it be your compass. Let it be your home. And from this place of stillness, move forward with the knowing that you are already enough, already whole, and already free. There is a silent ache living inside so many people, a persistent, invisible weight that presses down on their spirit with every breath they take. It's the burden of believing they must shrink to be accepted. The ache of walking through life with their head slightly bowed, their light dim, their voice filtered through the fear of being too much. They smile politely, tiptoe carefully, apologize often, and hide instinctively all, to avoid disturbing a world that has somehow convinced them that their very being needs justification. But let me remind you of something sacred and eternal. You are not here by accident. You were not placed on this earth to tiptoe around the edges of your own life. You are a divine creation, a masterpiece sculpted from the infinite intelligence of Source itself. And your very existence is not something to apologize for. It is something to stand inside of, fully, gratefully, and unapologetically. The moment you were conceived, an entire universe conspired to breathe life into you. Stars collapsed and reformed in ancient skies. Oceans moved in rhythm with your heartbeat long before you ever touched the sand. The trees were already waiting to offer you shade. The sun was already burning so it could warm your skin. Life did not ask you to prove your worth before it gave you breath. It simply loved you into being. So who are you to apologize for that? Somewhere along the way, the world taught you how to forget your worth. You were handed roles to play and masks to wear. You were told to be quiet, be good, be agreeable, be less. You were taught to seek permission, to prove, to earn, to mold yourself into something palatable to those who hadn't yet remembered their own light. And the tragedy of it all is not just that you believed them, but that you started believing you had to apologize for the parts of you that were too free, too emotional, too passionate, too different, too radiant. But I tell you now, you were not born to beg for space in a universe that formed around you. You are not here to prove your right to exist. Your presence on this planet is the proof. And the very breath in your lungs is the permission. Stop apologizing for needing rest. Stop apologizing for setting boundaries. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop apologizing for your tears, your laughter, your healing, your truth. Stop apologizing for no longer tolerating what drains your soul. Stop apologizing for honoring what your spirit whispers in the quiet hours when no one else is watching. That is your truth. And your truth does not require approval, it requires alignment. The ego will tell you that to be loved, you must be pleasing, that to belong, you must be agreeable. But your soul, oh, your soul knows better. Your soul came here for authenticity, not approval. It came here to remember its own holiness, not to be molded by a world still asleep in the dream of separation. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your joy. You do not owe an apology for your healing. You are not selfish for putting yourself first when the world has asked you to abandon yourself for so long. You are not difficult for saying no when yes would betray your soul. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not too anything. You are exactly as you were designed to be, and that design is flawless because it was carved from the fabric of God itself. When you apologize for your existence, you declare to the universe that your presence is a burden, and what you declare becomes the frequency you live in. But when you decide, truly decide, to no longer shrink yourself to be digestible, you rise into a vibration where miracles unfold. Not because you've earned them, but because you've finally stopped resisting them. Healing begins when you stop apologizing for what hurts. Freedom begins when you stop pretending you're not bound. Power begins when you stop seeking permission to be who you already are. There is nothing humble about hiding. There is nothing noble about dimming your light so others can feel comfortable in the dark. True humility is standing tall in your divine nature while knowing that same divinity lives in everyone else. True humility is saying, I will not shrink to fit into your expectations, but I will love you while I rise. And that is what we are all called to do, to rise. To rise into the fullness of our being, to rise into the sacred remembrance that we are already worthy, already whole, already enough. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not an inconvenience to this world. You are the miracle itself. You are the prayer someone else is whispering. You are the answer life is unfolding through. Stop apologizing for that. Your pain does not disqualify you. Your confusion does not cancel your divinity. Your past does not reduce your value. In fact, it is often those very things, the wounds, the questions, the battles that become the fire that forges your awakening. And in the fire, the ego screams, but the soul sings. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be present. You don't have to have all the answers. You only have to be willing to listen, not to the noise of the world, but to the quiet hum of eternity vibrating within you. That's where your truth lives. That's where your power waits. That's where God meets you, not in apology, but in authenticity. When you say, I'm sorry for being too much, you abandon the part of you that is finally ready to rise. When you say, I'm sorry for needing space, you betray the soul that is asking you to breathe. When you say, I'm sorry for taking up room in the world, you rob that very world of the medicine only your presence can give. You are not here to fix anyone. You are here to free yourself. And in your freedom, others are reminded that they too are free. Stop apologizing for your healing journey. It may be messy, it may be nonlinear, it may confuse those who've never dared to walk their own, but your healing is holy. It is not a performance. It is not a public relations campaign. It is sacred alchemy. It is the resurrection of your soul from the ashes of old conditioning. Let your healing be loud. Let your boundaries be firm. Let your truth be untamed. Let your light be unapologetic. And let your presence be permission for others to do the same. You are not here to entertain the wounded expectations of others. You are here to embody the wholeness that lives within you, to remember it, to reclaim it, and to radiate it like the sun that shines without asking if it's allowed to rise. God does not apologize for creating you. So why would you apologize for being? You are not what the world told you you had to be. You are not your mistakes. You are not your labels. You are not your trauma. You are not your timeline. You are not your body. You are not your roles. You are not your past. You are something far more eternal, far more radiant, far more expansive. You are the light of God in human form, learning, growing, stumbling, rising, awakening. And in every breath you take, you have the opportunity to return to that truth. Not to earn it, but to remember it, to breathe into it, to live from it. You are the sky, vast, untouchable, unbroken. Your emotions are the weather that passes through. Your pain is not your identity. Your fear is not your home. Your past is not your prison. All of it, every piece is passing, transient, part of your becoming, not the definition of your being. Stop apologizing for what makes you feel alive. Stop apologizing for your passions, your dreams, your voice, your vision. Stop apologizing for your uniqueness. It is not a defect. It is your design. It is how God made sure the world would never lose the medicine only you could bring. Let the shame melt. Let the guilt dissolve. Let the unworthiness unravel. And in its place, plant the truth like a flag in the ground of your soul. I am allowed to be here. I am allowed to be whole. I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to heal. I am allowed to shine. I am allowed to live as if I was never broken, because I never truly was. You are not here. to be a watered-down version of your truth. You are here to be the full expression of divine life moving through you. Stop apologizing. Start living. You are not born with a sign around your neck that says, "I'm sorry for being here." That sign was crafted by fear, fastened by conditioning, and tightened by the opinions of others who forgot their own divinity. But now, with a breath of awareness, with a clarity of presence, you have the power to take it off, to tear it away, to stand naked before life and the truth of your being and say, "I no longer need to be small to feel safe. I no longer need to be silent to feel seen. I no longer need to apologize for the breath that was given to me by something far greater than this world." No flower apologizes for blooming too brightly. No ocean apologizes for being too vast. No star whispers regret for its brilliance. So why should you, who carry the same creative spark, shrink your light to fit into a room built on forgetfulness? The fear of being too much is the echo of someone else's disconnection. But your fullness does not harm, it heals. Your wholeness does not intimidate, it liberates. Your radiance does not cast shadows, it reveals the places still waiting to awaken. You are not a burden for feeling deeply. You are not a mistake for walking away from what wounds your peace. You are not selfish for choosing to protect the sacred temple of your being. In fact, the greatest act of service you can offer the world is to become so deeply aligned with your true self that you no longer bend to the distortions of those who haven't yet remembered who they are. Stop apologizing for needing solitude. The soul grows in stillness. It hears the whisper of God in the hush between distractions. In the silence you try to fill, your spirit speaks loudest. You are not antisocial for choosing stillness over noise. You are sacred. Stop apologizing for your joy. There are people who will misunderstand your happiness because they've never dared to believe they deserve it themselves. But your joy is not a threat, it is a map. It shows the way home to those still lost in the maze of their minds. And stop apologizing for your voice. You were given a sound, a truth, a message encoded with divine intelligence. You were meant to speak, not just in words, but in presence, in energy, in frequency. Your existence hums with a song no other being can sing. So let it rise, let it soar, let it break the silence of suppression. Because when you give yourself permission to be fully expressed, you gift the world with a living example of what freedom looks like. There are those who will ask you to tone it down, to be more agreeable, to keep the peace by betraying yourself. But that's not peace, that's performance. And the soul was not born to perform, it was born to be. Being does not ask for applause. It asks for truth. It asks for presence. It asks for you to look in the mirror and finally say, "I see you, I honor you, I no longer abandon you for the comfort of others." This is your rebirth. This is your rising. This is the moment when you decide that you don't owe anyone a diluted version of your truth. You don't need to lower your voice to be heard by those still sleeping. Let them sleep, let them dream. But you awaken. And when you awaken, you stop explaining your light to those committed to living in shadow. You stop trying to prove your value to those who've misplaced their own. You stop waiting for permission that has already been granted by existence itself. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest? That sacred remembrance in your belly? That holy flame flickering behind your ribs? That's life saying, you are allowed to speak, to rest, to dance, to feel, to create, to grieve, to laugh, to cry, to walk away, to begin again. You are allowed to be unapologetically you, messy, divine, evolving, radiant, real, because God doesn't make mistakes. And you were not put here to be someone's idea of who you should be. You were sculpted from Source, and Source doesn't apologize for itself. It moves through galaxies, it breathes through mountains, it sings through birdsong and thunder, and now it pulses through you. You don't need to earn your right to exist. That right was bestowed on you the moment your soul agreed to this human journey. You don't need to prove your worth. You are the worth. You are the evidence of divine intelligence in motion. You are the miracle you've been waiting for. So stop apologizing for evolving beyond environments that no longer match your frequency. Stop apologizing for letting go of identities that were only ever survival mechanisms. Stop apologizing for not being who you used to be. You are not here to repeat. You are here to transform. When you stop apologizing, you begin to honor. And in that sacred honoring, you start to remember, I am the light. I am the love. I am the presence. I am the now. I am the one I was waiting for. And this remembrance, this deep cellular knowing, it doesn't require drama. It doesn't require explanation. It just is. Like the breath, like the ocean tide, like the stars spinning silently through a sky that never asks for permission to shine. When you live from this place of unapologetic presence, you move differently. You love more freely. You speak more clearly. You walk through the world not trying to be liked, but simply being light. And those still seeking themselves may not understand you, but those ready to awaken will recognize you, not because of what you say, but because of how you feel. You will become a mirror, a reminder, a beacon. Not because you set out to be those things, but because you finally allowed yourself to stop pretending you weren't already them. And what a gift that is, not just to yourself, but to the world. So I ask you now, gently, lovingly, directly, what would it feel like to stop apologizing forever? What would it feel like to wake up tomorrow and no longer ask for permission to follow your soul's deepest calling? What would it feel like to rest without guilt, speak without fear, create without censoring, and love without abandoning yourself? That feeling you just imagined, that's not fantasy, that's truth. That's your natural state. That's what your soul came here to remember, to embody, to live. And you don't need to earn it. You only need to choose it. Let the choosing begin now. Let your breath be your vow. Let your silence be your reset. Let your next step be your liberation. And let the world adjust to the sound of your unapologetic soul rising. You are not here to adjust your vibration to fit a world that has forgotten how to feel. You are here to remember, to return, to reclaim your sacredness in a world addicted to appearances. You are not meant to be accepted by everyone. You are meant to be authentic with yourself. And in that radical authenticity, you align with something greater than approval. You align with truth, with God, with the frequency of freedom. You were not born to be a shapeshifter in someone else's narrative. You are the author of your own becoming. You are the breath of divine intention woven into flesh. You are the yes that life whispered into the cosmos before you even arrived. There will be moments when the remnants of your conditioning rise. You will still feel the urge to apologize, to soften your truth, to twist yourself into shapes that feel familiar, even if they suffocate you. But in those moments, I ask you to pause, to breathe, to place your hand over your heart and say, I no longer abandon myself to be digestible. I no longer apologize for who I am becoming. Because who you are becoming is the most honest version of who you've always been beneath the layers. The child who knew how to dream without fear, how to speak without shame, how to dance without watching, how to love without guarding. That version of you is not gone. It is simply waiting for your permission to return. You cannot awaken if you are still apologizing for what your awakening disrupts. The moment you stop explaining your growth is the moment it becomes your natural state. Like water returning to the ocean, you begin to flow back into the infinite. You see, life is not asking you to become something you're not. It's asking you to remember what you already are. There is nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing unworthy. The only illusion is that you ever believed otherwise. And that illusion dies the day you say, I am done performing. I am done pretending. I am done apologizing for being exactly who the universe dreamed me into. It's time now to lay down the armor, the one made of I'm sorry, the one built from fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of disappointing others. You do not need it anymore. You never did. Your safety is not in hiding, it's in remembering. Remembering that when you stand in truth, you are never truly alone because the divine walks with you, in you, as you. Let this be your awakening. The realization that your existence is not a problem to solve, but a gift to unwrap every day, in every moment, in every breath. The more you unwrap, the more you reveal the miracle of presence, the miracle of wholeness, the miracle of being unapologetically you. When you no longer apologize for your presence, something miraculous happens. Life begins to respond to you differently. The right people find you. The right doors open. The right energy flows. Not because you finally proved yourself, but because you finally stopped resisting yourself. That's the real secret resistance, is the only thing that keeps you from the life you long for. Not the past, not the people, not the circumstances. It's the belief that you have to shrink, bend, explain, or apologize for what already belongs to you. Let the resistance go. Let it fall off you like an old skin, brittle with the dust of outdated stories. Let it drop like a heavy coat on a summer day, unnecessary, burdensome, ready to be released. You are not here to dim down to survive. You are here to shine to remember. And your light is not arrogance, it's awareness. It's not ego, it's essence. It's not performance, it's presence. And oh, how the world needs your presence. Not your perfection, not your compliance, not your smallness, your presence. Your whole, holy, unapologetic, radiant, messy, miraculous presence. That's what heals, that's what liberates, that's what transforms. You are the healing you've been seeking. You are the return you've been waiting for. You are the revolution your blood remembers. And it begins not with striving, not with effort, but with allowing. Allowing yourself to exist without apology. Allowing yourself to be here without explanation. Allowing yourself to breathe, to feel, to rest, to rise, all without needing anyone's stamp of approval. Because the only approval that ever truly mattered was your own. You are allowed to rewrite the rules, to walk away from shame, to stop explaining your light to those still addicted to their shadows. And you are allowed to do it gently. This doesn't need to be dramatic. It can be soft. Like the moment you choose silence over self-betrayal. Like the moment you choose rest over burnout. Like the moment you choose presence over people-pleasing. It's not about fighting who you were, it's about welcoming who you are. When you say yes to your own existence fully, completely, unapologetically, you become a sanctuary, a space where others remember it's safe to do the same. You stop perpetuating the legacy of apology and begin embodying the lineage of freedom. And isn't that what the world needs now? Not more apologies. More awakenings, not more conformity, more courage, not more fitting in, more standing out, not for attention, but for truth. So now, as we begin to lean gently toward the final stretch of this sacred remembering, let yourself breathe into this truth. You are a divine soul. You are not here by accident. You are not broken. You do not need fixing. You need honoring. You need embracing. You need remembering. Not by the world, but by you. You have nothing left to apologize for. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are on time. Right here, right now, with the breath of God in your lungs, with the wisdom of eternity in your cells, with the courage to rise echoing in your bones. You do not need permission to be free. You only need to stop pretending you aren't. And the moment you do, the moment you release the last apology lingering in your energy field, the whole universe exhales in celebration because you finally remembered what it has known all along. You are not here to apologize for your existence. You are here to embody it. You do not owe your light to anyone else's comfort. You do not have to fold yourself in half to be loved. You do not need to barter your authenticity for belonging. Because the deepest belonging begins when you belong fully to yourself, when you no longer need a crowd to echo your worth, because your very breath is an affirmation from the divine that you matter, that you are sacred, that your being is an irreplaceable note in the cosmic symphony of existence. Do you know what happens when you stop apologizing for your existence? You become available for life, truly available. Available to receive joy without guilt. Available to speak truth without trembling. Available to love without disappearing. Available to create without censoring. Available to serve without losing yourself. You become the open channel through which God pours, not because you became worthy, but because you remembered you always were. And in that remembering, something extraordinary occurs. You stop striving for freedom and you begin embodying it. The trees don't ask for forgiveness when they grow tall. The rivers don't say, "I'm sorry," as they carve canyons into mountains. The stars don't apologize for lighting the sky. So why would you apologize for shining in the way only you can? You are not a mistake that needs to be corrected. You are a miracle that needs to be witnessed. And your first witness must be you. So take this moment right here, right now, and breathe into the truth that your very existence is holy ground. Your life is not something you need to earn. It is something you get to inhabit fully, gratefully, boldly. And every time you choose presence over apology, you reclaim another part of your soul. Every time you speak your truth, even when your voice trembles, you realign with the deeper rhythm of the universe. Every time you say no to what dishonors you and yes to what nourishes you, you shift the fabric of reality toward love. This is not selfish. This is sacred. Because when you are full, not ego-full, but soulful, you overflow into others. Your wholeness becomes contagious. Your light becomes a mirror. Your freedom becomes a map. And without needing to fix, preach, or perform, you simply become the embodiment of permission. Permission to feel. Permission to rest. Permission to evolve. Permission to be. And that is how the world heals, not through force, but through presence. Not through shame, but through remembrance. Not through apology, but through alignment. So the invitation now is this: walk forward, not as someone seeking to be enough, but as someone who has remembered they always were. Walk as one who no longer begs for room, but who blesses every space with their being. Walk as one who does not shrink in fear, but expands in love. And if the world trembles at your fullness, let it. That trembling is the sound of illusions breaking. That trembling is the sound of permission rippling through collective consciousness. That trembling is the birth cry of a new way of being, one that no longer apologizes for its own holiness. You were born for this. You were born to be seen, not for who others want you to be, but for who you truly are. Beneath the costumes, the masks, the edits, you were born to be heard. Not with a voice that performs, but with one that pierces through illusion like thunder wrapped in honey. You were born to stand not above others, but beside your own soul in unwavering devotion. You were born to awaken not someday, but now. And now is enough. Now is sacred. Now is waiting. Waiting for you to say the words that shift your entire reality. I no longer apologize for being me. Say it again. Gently, I no longer apologize for being me. Let it settle in your belly. Let it move through your spine. Let it dissolve the chains that were never yours to carry. You are no longer bound to a life of permission slips and second guessing. You are no longer required to carry guilt as your entry pass into love. You are no longer obligated to dilute your spirit to be understood. You are here to live in the fullness of your sacred yes. And this is your yes. This is your exhale. This is your homecoming. You will not be for everyone, but you are for you. You are for God. You are for truth. And that is enough. That is everything. And from this place, this whole radiant, unapologetic place, you now become the living proof that freedom is not found in permission, but in presence. You become the walking remembrance that we are all divine, we are all worthy, and none of us need to apologize for the miracle we already are. And now, as the final petals of this message begin to unfold in your heart, let these words land like soft thunder in your soul. You are allowed. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to rise. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to laugh. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to stay. You are allowed to rewrite your story. You are allowed to no longer explain it. You are allowed to just be, without justification, without apology, just you, whole, sacred, loved, free.